So we have a lot of top stories this week, Corey, but the big top story I think is Farmhouse Fixer. Have you seen Farmhouse Fixer?
I haven't seen it, but I've seen all the hype around it.
There is a lot of hype around it.
Yeah.
And actually it's kind of well-deserved. It launched 2 weeks ago on HGTV. It's a television show. It's a reality-based home improvement, renovation show. It's that genre.
Mm-hmm.
On HGTV. It's a real television show. It's not like a binge drop where they drop the entire season online. This is actually on national television, and it's released, you gotta tune in to watch it every Wednesday night at like 9 p.m.
Yeah.
And it's now had 2 shows, and it's got a lot of buzz, and it's got a lot of local hooks. So we wrote a really awesome piece this week tuning into the show. It stars Essex resident Jonathan Knight, and also Essex resident Kristina Crestin. Jonathan Knight is the renovation guy. He's really into farmhouse architecture and farmhouse renovation. He's been doing it for 25 years, and he's done over 200 projects. And his sidekick is she's kind of in the firecracker mold on camera because she's got this burst of energy, to her, but she's the architectural interior designer who is also his friend. She also happens to live in Essex with her boyfriend and their dog. And she has her business, Kristina Crestin Design, is in Manchester. So super local ties all around.
Right. And Erika, we have to say Jonathan Knight's background.
Yes. Or as we say, let's get the backstory out of the way.
Yeah. Well, and I took down my poster, but you can go ahead and say who he was anyway.
There you go. Now that's the hint. Jonathan Knight is a singer with New Kids on the Block, which was the 80s kind of progenitor of the boy band kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
It was, they were in the 80s, New Kids on the Block. Now they're known, they're still, active, and they still have a fan base, but now they're known as NKOTB.
That's right.
Instead of New Kids on the Block. Nobody says it out anymore. But that always reminds me of the old WASP phrase, NOKD.
Yeah, no.
Not our kind, dear.
Yeah.
Don't mistake that with New Kids on the Block.
Yeah.
So they're still around. He's 52 years old. He quietly moved to Essex 25 years ago. I remember when it happened because I'm not, and this ties into actually the story, because I'm not a New Kids fan. I'm 54 years old. I'm about 10 years beyond, I was 10 years too late. If you're 10 years younger than I am, you were in the New Kids on the Block, kind of fan club. And the truth is, the show's got a bunch of millennial moms that now are sort of baked in as audience members because they were all fans when they were teenagers. Now they're all grown up and they can watch Jonathan Knight do his thing. The truth is, he's been around for 25 years. He's kept a very low profile. I've heard of him being around town over the years, but I hear about it that he's super low key. You can work out next to him at the Manchester Athletic Club and nobody will even notice him. He's really normal and nice, right? That's what you hear.
And done a ton of work around here over that time. A lot.
A ton of work around here. And also, by the way, me not being a fan, I watched the show and I thought it was a fantastic show. He's a total natural. He knows exactly what he's doing. He still has his Boston accent, which is hilarious and awesome. I love the fact that he's been living in Essex for 25 years and he hasn't lost the accent.
Yeah.
Anyway,
impressive.
so he's really good. She's great too. The two of them are together. He was trying to get a show based on his work for the last 6 years, apparently. And he's friends with her. They met appropriately on a project 16 years ago. They're really, really good friends. They work really well together. They got great chemistry together. And the truth is that the way this show is kind of different than most shows, and we say this in the piece, they don't parachute around like the talent. We're the talent, and they don't parachute out into these projects and say their lines and then leave. All of these projects they're doing.
Yeah, they're hands-on
to the beginning, and he's crawling around under floorboards in the 1700s, dilapidated farmhouse, and he's in the dust and dirt and muck, and it's awesome. It's a great show, and so I can't imagine. I think it's going to be a hit because I think that anyone, if you're into New Kids on the Block, you're going to love it. But if you're not, I'm not, I think it's a great show. So, and we had a great conversation with Kristina. She was fantastic. And she basically says, she hopes that the authenticity of the show comes through. I was telling you about how he was looking for a show, and she was on do you remember PBS's This Old House had a Farmhouse edition.
Yes, yep.
They had a Farmhouse season.
Yep.
And that was on the North Shore. I think it was called North Shore Farmhouse. She was the interior designer on that show. And that was 2016. So he saw that, and then he basically said, wait a minute, we're friends, let's do this together. They did, and the rest is history.
Very
now,
cool.
I'm going to ask you something that has to do with you, actually.
Okay.
Because one of the shows, there's 6 renovations they do in this season 1. And, you know, 2 of them are in New Hampshire, 2 of them are in Ipswich, and then one of them is in West Gloucester. Now, West Gloucester, the reason I know that it might have a connection with you is Ruth Pino your aunt?
She is.
Ruth Pino sold the house in 2013 that they worked on in West Gloucester. It's by Marshall's Farm Stand. It was owned by a physician and a doctor. It was an old farmhouse that the doctor had for decades. And a young family purchased it. They were friends with Kristina, and they ended up following it on the show. And that is, you know, Marshall's Farm Stand off of Concord Street, right?
Exactly, yeah. And I think, I might be wrong, but I think Marshall's, the patriarch, their dad, was born in that physician's house.
Oh my God, you're kidding.
Yeah, I might be wrong. I think so. I know he's born in a house in that, yeah.
I love that.
Yeah.
I love that. So there you go. A little bit of, you know, that's like a little Hollywood here.
Yeah, that's a great story. Is there anything else we have to look forward to next week, Erika?
Well, we're doing a big write-up on the school committee, it's the school committee, and then BOS, and finance committees for all of Essex. That all happened, and we're going to be doing a big write-up on it.
Gotcha. We'll get back into the nitty-gritty. Okay, thanks again, folks. Get the cricket while you can.
All right, sorry for the phone.
Fine.